all the Delta V in the world right now. I'm gonna be launching this thing into space because it amuses me. You know, you could keep it on and have it fly from area to area, but it would move, of course, its center of gravity quite a bit, its center of mass. I just enjoy shooting this thing off in space. Makes me laugh. There we go. Bricks. See, I just like having that thing shoot off like a madman. Who knows where it'll end? I want to see. Does this thing... Does that still... Where are we right now? Dick Grayson. Moon debris. Oh, there we go. That's what it should be. See, yeah, it is still accelerating. That thing is going to a horrible, horrible death. Oh, it's focusing downwards again. Look at that. Do you see how that's moving? It rotated downwards, and it is... Or is it... Oh, no, wait. It is... Yeah, no, it's blowing, falling downwards right now. Altitude. That thing is going to a quick death. Whoa. Okay. So here we have our lonely little... It even looks a little bit like Jexus. Look at that. Our lonely... there we go. Lonely little rover. All we need to do is call it the Rover 2 Ballerina. And say that it is a rover and accept, which completes that mission. 20k, but it was worth it. Okay, whew. I'm gonna read up on what you've been saying here while I've been doing this descent. Oh yeah, could you not? They added what essentially amounts to Elder God themed Bejeweled minigame. Nice. It's just intense. Cool. With following a guide? Whoa. Let's escape by the way. Here's an example of one of the puzzles. There's a zone with a cave. You were led to this cave by a previous clue. Inside the cave, there's a single chair with a skull on it. And a clue that has a bunch of nonsense words on it. Words are an anagram of Raxum Greep is the key. Raxum is a goblin NPC in a town on another continent who was updated randomly in a patch to be wearing a bandana. You need to then acquire one of these bandanas to return to the cave, strip naked, and wear the bandana. What? Who would guess that? That is super annoying. Then you get the next clue. Hey there, Fub. A bandana can only be crafted by tailors who have an obscure recipe drop from dark iron dwarfs in another zone on another continent. Oh god, no. You're reading Ready Player One, you think it's great, pose the question if something is just a buttload of fun to read, is it still bad? I mean, it's definitely in the high point of English literature, but it's not as if it's on the fan fiction level either. Jexus, it gets there. It gets full on fan fiction level. Don't worry about that. Play some Skyrim, sure, enjoy some Lusty Argonian Maid. Oh, the Lusty Argonian Maid is amazing. It's so stupid. It is complete fan fiction nonsense. You aren't even sure which crater to take the temperature in, so you pick one at random. After all, the twins' rings should be the same, right? They say insanity, blah blah blah. I read that one already, so I'm not going to read it again, because that would be the definition of insanity. Hi-yo! Very faint magnetic field, that's the same standard thing. Get some laser scans. Only a thin layer of lunar regolith covers the surface in this crater. Laser analysis of the rock below indicates high concentration of several heavy metals. Okay, that is the standard stuff. It looks like we got all the science we can from this baby. Let's test. If I go forward now. Yeah, forward gets us forward. Okay, right gets us to the right, left gets us to left. Perfect. That is where we need to be going. So, let's configure the ballerina, mainly saying, don't give me any messages unless you're breaking. That is all I need from you. Lovely. Brakes, please. Let's get some data and transmit all these beauties for science. Electric charge is going down. I think it's a massive community exercise. It's crazy. It took about a week to figure out. I can get that. It sounds like it's just pure on randomness. Fuel cell stops. Lights are off. Solar panels are fixed. Yeah. Scanner is disabled. That's good. Here's what I want. When you are in sunlight, turn off the fuel cell. When you're in shadow, you know what? When you're have high power, turn off the fuel cell. When you have low power, turn on the fuel cell. That's what I want. That way, this thing will maintain its energy for quite a while. Enough, at least, to transmit all the signs. And since we're not getting that much signs from the top... Whoa! What the... Oh. Whoops. That is not the button I wanted to be using here. There we go, that works. For one, let's drive you like this. Close that. And extend this solar panel. That way we hopefully can get a little bit more solar power. There we go, we are charging up. So this thing will maintain itself. Look at this friendly little face. Oh my god, look at that. Current just there over the surface. That is beautiful. Can I say millennials don't want to put any effort into things? Hi-oh. Nice one. I'm doing fine, Philip. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? I'll get a purple unicorn to ride at the end of the task. You know what? Maybe that's what the kind of job rewards we should be getting. Purple unicorns to ride. Let's see. We have satellites, outposts, magnetic fields around the sun, and harvesting food in space. We have some big missions. An orbital survey of the Mun. This is almost not worth it anymore. Collect gene lock Kremen. That gets us a bit of science, a bit of cash, I mean, that's good, and another Kerbal, so let's do that. And they want us to get a rover on Minmus. Okay, let's do that as well. That is not that difficult. And they want us to get some seismic readings with the Dick Grayson. Let's take that one as well. Okay. We needed to land a rover on Minmus. Now we're going to start doing some more parallel missions. We just tested out this new design. It should be fine getting us to Minmus. What was one of the problems we had with this baby? There's a lack of RCS in space, but you know what? I think we're going to be fine. Now that we know this, we can do this. We're going to blast another one of these into space, setting it on a course for Minmus, and yeah, we're setting on a course for Minmus and let that go. Here's the thing I've been thinking of, by the way. I said this was this had enough fuel to land on the Mun with some to spare, so it'll have enough fuel to land on Minmus. So, we're going to get this thing up there using a lower thrust right now, because before we got into a 100k apoapsis before we knew it, which isn't exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to lower this. There we go, to get us up into space to get us up into 10k, but not that quickly yet. Get that gravity turn going right now. Gentle taps here. So now we are going to be really picking up speed more and more. So that's why I want to make sure that this gravity turn ends up doing what we need it to do, which is funnel most of our speed into horizontal movement rather than vertical. Because we're already going, as you can see, to 50k. So I'm going to very aggressively turn this thing. 60k, 64, 65. Slow to 68. There we go. Have this burn like that. I don't think even we need to burn this that much. In late night gaming yesterday, taking it very easy. Vain is. Which reminds you have to do some work. Ugh. Working on a weekend. Now that's annoying. But yeah, I know what you mean with that. Particularly, I've been noticing that I always knew that I need a very pretty set schedule. Because I wake up at 7 a.m. no matter what. If I go to bed at 1, I will be wide awake at 7. I don't know what it is, but that's about, for some reason, the absolute internal clock that I have. I don't think it's a reasonable thing. Obviously, if I go to bed at 5, I'm not going to wake up at 7, but like, if I go to bed at a reasonable, regular time slot, so that's anywhere between 11 and 1, I wake up at 7. So that's why I've noticed as well, I don't want to game late. Like after 10, I kind of want to turn off any lamps, any artificial lights. I mentioned this yesterday, I think. I have a just an old school lantern, hooded lantern that I use because it's very, very warm, low light. Because otherwise, just my sleep schedule, my sleep rhythm gets so messed up. And when my sleep rhythm gets messed up, I am messed up for days. That sounded like some kind of weird meme. No, but when my sleep schedule gets messed up, I'm like the next day, I'm just completely wiped out. The day after, I can't really do that much, that as efficiently as I normally can. That's not exactly... There we go, that is an orbit. At this point, it would have been nice to actually have RCS. That's something I could have added. But I think we might do just fine. There we go. We need to go anti-normal with this baby. To right there. So, aim to anti-normal, because I think we have enough time to let the control wheel deal with this. Because as you can see here, we're moving very, very slowly. That's the mandatory RCS mod, nerfing the control wheel, but we are moving. Late night gaming sounds good. Fup had a late start today too, but hey, your vacation starts, that's not too much of a problem. Hey, that's nice. Vacation time is... Sorry about that. Vacation time is always great. Yeah, sadly, I'm getting into the second week back at work. It's alright, but the first week has already been quite annoying. I work for 3 days a week, because on the side I actually do odd jobs, try to do some translation here and there, and try to get some own projects going. So, on the one hand, I'm in a luxurious situation where working 3 days a week, I can afford to, you know, to still get around. That's good. I don't have that much. You know, if I worked full time for this salary, that would have been so much better. I would have had so much more financial ability, and that would be nice normally. But the problem is, my work is a province away. I have 3 to 3.5 hours of travel time a day for my job. Which means, you know, I cut it down to 3 days a week because that adds 9 hours of actual travel time in the week already. But as it sometimes also is in education, I have to do some overtime, which is just, that's part of it. Everyone has to do that overtime. It's not paid overtime, that's just the way it works. And last week I had to work 5 days out of my 3 and just got constant calls, and in the evening got calls. And that's kind of the shitty part about education, that sometimes just is part of it. And that's that can be tiring sometimes. You are not adjusting to anti-normal, are you? You are not adjusting to anti-normal at all. Come on. That commute is killing. When you were still in consultancy, you had similar commutes to your clients. Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. The time and having to get that every day, that time, that's a real downer. Makes me kind of want, because the job I have is actually pretty okay. I'm fine with it. And in fact, if it were here in this city, I would be far happier with it. I'd probably work an extra day, maybe 2 days, though I kind of gotten used to having some time off. But that would have been far easier. But yeah, it's the commute that really, really grates after a while. Okay, perfect. Gonna fast forward this a little bit. Now, we're gonna remove the surface of the rendezvous screen. Remember, we are interested in the relative inclination. We need that to be as close to 0 as we can have it. So right now, our orbits, my orbit, the equator orbit, is 5.5 degrees different from Minmus. 2, 1, burn. Which is, doesn't seem like much, but when you calculate it over millions of kilometers, that starts adding up. There we go. So, let's see how we can adjust this. If we RCS backwards, we can get it to 0.1. This isn't that good, but it's okay. It's nothing to be proud of, but it does the job. Which is, after all, darn it, I hate it when it keeps doing that. I have too many satellites in here, so I accidentally select one of them where I actually rather just want to select a part of the orbit. There we go. So again, I'm trying to hit that same thing I did with the Mun as well, where we just hit our apoapsis. We just hit our apoapsis as we go by. So very gently. There we go, look at that. Just the barest little tap that hits us in there. Let's adjust this. See if we can get there as carefully as possible. So here's the downside of Minmus, of course. It has such low gravity, you don't get a real strong grab. But that's alright. So, 900 delta V. But the vessel has 700 in here. So, we could probably fully burn... There we go. We could probably fully burn this engine and be okay. So Fub used to work 40 hours, then you dropped to 36 and saved up the 4 hours every week. But in your new job, you can't take that much time, so you went up to 38, saving 2 hours a week. That's nice. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, for me, it's 3 hours is sort of what I can do with the commute, because what that means is that Mondays to Wednesdays, I have almost no free time. I get up at 7, that's because by now I get to set my time, so any meeting I have, I just have it put at 9:30 at the latest, at the earliest, I mean. But I get up at 7, get ready, from that point on, I have to hurry to get everything together and prepare everything and, make breakfast and get everything done. Make sure to grab public transport at around 8, which means I get to work at 9:30, work on through to 5, and I have the kind of work where I get interrupted all the time, because that's kind of my job. I'm there to solve problems, and I have some set things that I need to get done, but usually per day there's a number of problems that people come to me for that I need to figure out. I'm suddenly realizing, we did. Okay, good. We extended these solar panels. But yeah, so there's that in a day, so that means usually I don't finish my work at all, the set things I need to do. So I work until 5, and then getting home, that is tricky, because that's exactly when the public transport times change. Okay, just managing this. Yeah, which means that the ride home usually takes 2 hours rather than an hour and a half. So by the time I get home, it is going to be 7-ish, 7:30-ish usually, or 7:45, depending on whether I just managed to catch this train or that, or whether the bus connection works out, whether that is good. So there's a lot of lost time in there for me. So by the time I get home, it's sometimes 7:30, sometimes 8. 2, 1, burn. And, then you have cooking food. Get it? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, of course. Decouple that. I should have, of course, taken that into account. Let's focus on this for a moment, because I want this to be a very close, gentle tap. Now at this point I want our CS to take over, because that is a gentler tap. That is good. That is fine. Ideally I would have wanted an equatorial orbit, but I think this is fine. So this thing, 11K is an excellent height. There we go. Rotate that baby. Set up a node for that, and this one should be good. On its way, we have that there. Yeah, this one should do just fine. Let's rename this baby. We can make it a rover. The rover 2-3, Minimus. Accept, and go back to the Space Center. Hope you have some good reading on you. Yeah, well, on the way over to work, I have to work. That's usually I spend the hour and a half working. Sometimes on the way back I have to work as well, just to get things done. But yeah, sometimes I can get the Kindle out, do some work, or do some reading there, or sometimes work on some of the projects I just have around the house, like the proposals for stuff. So I tend to make it productive, but it's still tricky because it's still tiring. So once you get home and it's 8 and I've cooked food and prepared and cleaned and you know, it's easily 9, which leaves me about an hour before I kind of have to go to sleep already to be able to get up and, you know, get ready and do everything again. Well, you know, again, because of that thing I do where I say after 10 o'clock, no more screens, getting ready to go to sleep. So, you know, after 10 is when I do most of my reading, just relaxing. Also, talking about creepy darkness from the nether void coming to consume my soul. Give me a second. Whoa. Come on, light. Do it. You can do it. Survive. Okay. So, now that we've launched that thing, I think it might be worthwhile to do what we set out to do, which was work on our space plane. That is what I called this stream, and it is something I want to test and work on. Also, we're going to need to adjust the webcam a little bit. Get that chroma key. And adjust that a little bit. Also, let's get that chair out of the way. Haha! Mega professional stream today, isn't it just? Isn't it just? Let's close that down. Okay. Oh my god, we made some hideous things. Spaceplane X2? Is that what we... Oh my god, the Princess Leia. Do you remember that one? Polar jet attempts, Chihuahua. X2 shuttle. Is that the... No. That's not the new thing we made. Why do I call everything X2 and X3? This is so... This is not helpful at all. This is not helpful in the slightest. I have no idea what my latest design was. I think it was the space plane, wasn't it, Chill? Yeah, there we go. This was my design. So this was the one we wanted to adjust. Wait, where are the... Oh, no, wait. Yeah, we're fine. If I don't see at least one mechanical arm with multiple joints, you're going to be disappointed in the spaceplane. Here's the problem, Jexus. That's not in the game. We need infernal robotics to be updated to be able to make a mechanical arm. I want infernal robotics. It's real cool. It hadn't been updated last I checked, but maybe it is by now. You know what? Let's make a completely new design, because I have a new idea. Wow, this... You know what? This green screen is being very finicky today. It's being very finicky. Give me a second. The most professional of streams, I tell you. I'm headed straight for the top. There we go. I am headed for fame and fortune with all these gadgets and newfangled methods. No streamer is as up to date as this. Hey, I figure if, you know, you can become president of America with that kind of attitude, who knows? This is a huge monopropellant tank. How much monopropellant is in that? 400? Seems like you could do better than that. So, I had an idea. Let's make this thing long. Now I wonder if this is the best way to approach this. If this is the... If using 2 at the back is the best thing, or whether it might be better to adapt it, you know, to a 1, and then have a single blast down there. But I'm thinking this might be worthwhile. So I wanted it longer because that way, for one, the center of mass is going to be different